I got Jackie Robinson and Muhammad Ali. So that's how it all started. So I'm really thankful to my mom because she told me that Michael was shooting the movie scene at the studio where we had an office. And then, of course, I'm thankful to Johnny Carson and Michael Landon because otherwise I would still be just only doing PR.
Yeah, well, you can tell you have that natural entrepreneurial risk-taking spirit in you, because if you hadn't approached, nothing would have happened.
No, you're absolutely right. Well, listen, I know you spend time in New York. My wonderful Jewish grandma, she had this expression, which I know you've heard, but her expression to me all the time was, if you don't ask, you don't get, right? So with Michael Landon, I knew, and you said it very well, taking a risk is important. I could have been shy and not even gone to the set, but I knew I would have one chance to meet Michael Landon, like Eminem and the Eminem,
Yes.
that's very famous. You got one shot, you got one
shot, one opportunity.
Exactly. And I love that song. So that's why I approached Michael. And it did take 2 months, but he kept my card and he called me. If I was shy and didn't take that risk, my whole life would have been changed.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned Jackie Robinson.
Yes.
Talk about him a little bit, because he's all over. Such a
yes. First of all, yes. Today, the day that we're doing this nice little interview, this is the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson, the first day that he played in the major leagues with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And the way that he became my first client was, first of all, when we were living in New York, I was a Dodgers fan because my dad and mom were Dodgers fans. So we went to Ebbets Field in Brooklyn all the time. And Jackie was my favorite player on the Dodgers. So then fast forward, I finished UCLA. I'm working with my mom. And in that very first year, when Michael Landon joined me along with Johnny Carson, I had an opportunity to meet Jackie. And luckily, again, because of all these circumstances, I was able to tell Jackie that, number one, I was a huge fan of his going back to Brooklyn in the Dodgers days. And then number two, here are some of my clients. But the biggest thing with Jackie was he was such an inspiration to me because of what he went through in his life. Talking about risk takers, he was the biggest risk taker ever in sports, because when he joined the Dodgers, he was the only Black African-American player in baseball.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I'll share this with you because I think you would enjoy this. When we were living in New York, we would go to visit our other grandparents that lived in Hollywood, Florida. So we drove down to Miami and Hollywood, Florida. And for the first time, and again, this goes back, let's say mid 1950s, we would pull into gas stations and I'd ask my mom and dad, how come it says white bathroom and colored bathrooms? I mean, back then, some of the younger people won't believe this, but at that time in the 50s, the Black African-American people, they couldn't go in the same bathrooms as the white people. So when I mentioned this to Jackie, the first time I met him, I said, believe me, my heart sunk when I saw that you guys had to use a separate bathroom. So we really connected, Aisha, and he was a big hero to me.
And that's all you need, is to connect with your clients, to bring them in. Like I said in my introduction, they have to like and trust you.
Yes. No,
Wonderful.
You're absolutely right. But working with him was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And then my second sports client was Muhammad Ali. And when I met him, and again, when you talk about networking and knowing how to say the right things, it turned out I knew that he was born, as they say, Louisville. He was born in Louisville. So when I met him, that was the first thing that I said. I said, Muhammad, you're going to really get a kick out of this. I was born in Louisville before you were. So that was my way of getting to meet Ali, and working with him was so much fun. I mean, he was just a brilliant, brilliant guy.
Now, you are someone that has achieved immense success. What entrepreneurial lessons or words of advice would you want to share that's relevant to your success with our listeners?
Well, I would say, number one, I did mention impacting lives to you earlier, but I think no matter what you do, if you can have that spirit that every day you want to try to impact lives, and it's not about money I mean, I'll just give you an example. I get up early and I get to the office early. I had to stop at Vaughn's. It's a local supermarket. And I saw this woman, maybe she was 85 years old. I mean, she was an older woman, and she had all these packages in her cart, and nobody was there to help her. So I stopped by and I said, please let me help you. I loaded all of the groceries into her trunk. She was so thankful. And when she got into her car, I got the biggest smile from her. So, I mean, that's a small way, but I impacted her life, but it had nothing to do with money. So one of the things I would say is that. The other thing, I've always used this term going way, way back, and that's positive persistence. I really am a big believer in positive persistence. For anybody or any of the people that are watching that are into sales, there's an interesting statistic that one of our clients that is in sales has used. Usually it takes 7 interactions before a sale is consummated. A lot of people stop at number 2 or number 3. So that's where I mentioned that positive persistence, and I mean it in a positive way, not annoying the people or nagging them, but having positive persistence. That is such a powerful thing. And one speaking engagement that I did about 2 years ago, right before COVID, it was for PRSA, Public Relations Society of America. And they asked me whatever topic you want to use. And I use the power of positive persistence, because I use that no matter what you do. If you're a CPA or whatever you are, a lawyer, positive persistence really can go a long way, because it shows that you really care and you're not giving up.
Fantastic. Now, let's bring the topic to speaking.
Yes.
Now, we both know that when you get in front of a group of people, you have to connect with them really quickly or you'll lose them.
Right.
What are some strategies or a strategy that speakers can do to hook people? What are some of the strategies that you've seen that works?
No, I think it's that's a great question. And when I'm talking with a newer speaker, these are some of the things that I share with them. At the beginning, if you can make the audience laugh, if you have them at hello by making them laugh, and I'm not talking about saying a corny joke about the horse walked into the bar, not that, but something that can get the people in the audience to laugh. It's a way of really connecting with them early. Another thing that I tell all of my speakers, all of the speakers, the story is the key thing when they're speaking. It's what is their story, but if they can hit and capture the heart of the people in the audience, if they can capture their heart at the beginning of the talk, then again, they have them at hello. And it's great if they can, design a story that really touches the heart of the people in the audience. That is a very important thing. And then another important thing for a speaker is having an ongoing theme throughout their talk, so that when the audience leaves, at least they have 1 or 2 things that are embedded in their head, which the speaker was able to impart to them. So an ongoing theme is a really helpful thing as well. And then the other thing, of course, there are many people that are brilliant, but they aren't necessarily good speakers. So those that are speaking, if they can present their information in such a way that they can make it entertaining, that is really important. Because just to use the example, there are some professors at universities there, and they're very bright, but they're didactic. To use that word, they're didactic. And when
Absolutely.
they speak, it's boring. It's boring. So being entertaining, being a speaker where you can entertain the audience, and that's where the laughter comes in. It really helps so much if they can create laughter to the audience. We use this word, and I know you're familiar with it, but maybe some of the listeners or viewers, if you can give the audience takeaways that they will remember from your talk, which are takeaways that you are giving to them throughout the talk. That's a really important thing as well. So, you want to entertain them. Certainly you want to make them laugh. You want to impart knowledge, but to do it in an entertaining way.